Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. So starting this video off with updates of Nick Walker live from the Dragon Layers gym. And Nick said he's enjoying his time so much in Vegas, he may decide to stay there until this year's Olympia. And after reading through the comments of my last video and really taking some time to myself, I honestly believe that Nick Walker can be in that top 4 at this year's Olympia, maybe even higher than that. Now, if you guys think I'm crazy, give me 1 second. I actually took this image from the YouTube of Bodybuilding and BS. If you guys aren't subscribed, be sure to subscribe to his channel. This is Nick Walker at about 3 weeks out from last year's Arnold Classic versus 6 weeks out from this year's Olympia. Nick is bigger and better everywhere. Even the posing is better. And what's crazy, I looked at these photos last year and I didn't really notice all of these flaws in Nick Walker's physique, even though he still placed 5th at the Mr. Olympia and won the Arnold Classic. The quads have definitely came up. We said we wanted more quads. We have more teardrop, more quad sweep. Look at the waist. Also, the lats have came up. The posing is better. I'm excited to see Nick Walker at this year's Olympia. And with all of these improvements, I'm almost positive he's going to move up from that 5th place position. In the next update of the day, we have a recent update from Samson Dauda. I would say small, but nothing about this update is small. Samson has made some massive improvements in the back area, which was his weakest spot going into this year's offseason. And we can also see some striations in the glutes at about 6 weeks out. And I covered every single show that Samson Dauda has done in the past year, which is about 5 or 6. And I don't believe I've ever seen him with striated glutes, even though he was in good condition. So you guys let me know, is Samson the real deal or is he being a little bit overhyped? I think he can really shake some things up. Now switching over to James Hollingshead, these are recent updates of him ahead of this year's Olympia. Now do not let James fool you. Looking at these updates, he's a taller guy, about 5'11". Looks to be a little bit smaller than the other guys, but James is going to be massive on stage. And hopefully this protocol of cheat meals he's using is going to help him going into this year's Olympia. Hopefully that doesn't backfire. Once again, had a great showing at the Arnold UK. To me, the Tsunami Pro was the best James Hollingshead I've ever seen. Now switching over to Quinton Eriya, we have recent updates of him sitting at 307 pounds. And outside of Quinton needing to bring the back up, he doesn't really have any weaknesses. He was having an issue when he was shaking while posing, but I seen him do guest posings later and it seemed like the issue was resolved. Also comes in crazy condition, just needs a little bit more muscle maturity, which of course will come with more time and more training in the gym. I'm excited to see Quinton hop on the stage and hopefully it's sooner than later. Now switching over to Justin Rodriguez, we have recent updates from him. Now regardless what you think about Justin, he is definitely one of the hardest working guys we have in the sport. And it's very possible he's done the most men's open pro shows in the past 2 years out of anyone. I would actually have to sit down and count that up. But I'm hoping that Justin will have a great showing at this year's Olympia. Gonna be very hard for him to maintain that 8th place position. It's honestly gonna be very, very hard to even get into that top 10 because this year's Olympia is so stacked. But hopefully Justin does take a break after this year's Olympia. He definitely deserves it. Now switching over to Behrooz Tabani, we have a recent update from him, even though it is a bit blurry. Now, as I have said numerous times at last year's Romania Pro, Behrooz had conditioning and definition similar to Heidi Chupin. Now, ahead of this Romania Pro, I am not currently seeing that in the updates, but hopefully he brings it to the stage. But I do think that Brett Wilkin will be a little bit bigger than Behrooz at Romania and also be in good condition. So if Behrooz doesn't bring crazy conditioning detail, he may be in trouble. Now, switching over to Stan D. Longeaux ahead of this weekend's Fit Pyro show. Stan works with Patrick Tour. I have no idea what Patrick does with these guys. He's a very underrated coach. Every guy he works with comes in crazy condition. It looks like Stan is primed to bring his best. I believe he placed 4th at the Legion Sports Fest if I'm not mistaken. And Stan has made some significant improvements over the past few years. If you guys didn't know, he actually started off as a very small men's physique guy and is now competing in the open class. I'm excited to see him at this weekend's show and he may be able to get a qualification for this year's Olympia. Now, I thought it was also only fair to mention Kevin Jordan, who will also be doing this show. And yes, I know, guys, he does look like Dave Palumbo. So do you guys think it would be an easy win for Stan D. Longeaux or leaning more towards Kevin Jordan? But based off Stan's last update, I would be leaning a little bit more towards him. Seems like he's in better condition, also has crazy detail right now. But I'm excited to see Kevin on stage. Haven't seen this guy in a minute. Now, the next update of the day, we have a recent update from Alfred Chiriac ahead of the Europa Pro. Now, initially I said I had Theo LaGreger as my favorite, but I may have to rethink that. This guy's conditioning and detail is on another level. All he needs is more size before he truly becomes competitive. And guess who coaches him, guys? Patrick Tour. Every guy Patrick coaches comes in crazy condition. Now, switching over to Classic Physique, we have recent updates from the man himself, Ramon Dino. Now, do you guys think it's just me, or is Ramon either a little bit down in size or just flat? Hopefully he's just flat. But right now, I still have Ramon Dino placing at least third at this year's Olympia, edging out Eric Kalasinski. And as you guys can see here, I think Ramon just has too much in the back and the arm department for a guy like Eric Kalasinski. But in the coming years, I do believe Ramon and Erz are probably going to be the top two in their division, you know, battling it out for the title. But as long as Ramon nails his conditioning, I'm pretty sure he's going to move up from that 5th place position he took last year. But I'm not too worried about Ramon coming in condition because he is coached by Chris Aceto, another great coach. Now switching over to Breon Ansley, this is a recent update from him and probably the best update of Breon I've seen from this prep. Honestly, been keeping it pretty quiet. A lot of people aren't really talking about him. And do you guys think Breon can even, you know, beat Eric Kalasinski or Ramon Dino again? Breon beating either one of those guys, I think it will be a win for him. He's an older guy, about 40 plus, just doesn't seem like he has the legs for this division anymore. But hopefully Breon will be able to go out the classic physique division with a bang. Now switching over to Dancovea Anderson, these are the last updates we will see of him ahead of this weekend's Texas State Pro. And I did take a quick glance at the competitors list for that show, and not to offend anyone, but I believe Dancovea will be earning an Olympia qualification this weekend. For some reason, not a lot of people are still talking about this guy, but once he pops up at the Olympia, everyone is going to be like, who is this? Now switching over to 212, we have recent updates from Kerrith Bajjo. Now Kerrith won the Texas Pro after taking a very close 2nd place to Keon Pearson in Tampa. And a lot of people actually had Kerrith winning that show because he was in better condition and showcased more detail. Now, Kerrith actually placed ahead of Keon Pearson at last year's Olympia. I believe he was 8th place. And I'm pretty sure he wants to move up this year. So he's going to be in the mix along with all of the other 212 guys we've been covering. They're very, very close. Now, switching over to Eduardo Correa, we have a recent update from him. I don't believe this guy has competed since 2012 according to NPC News Online. You guys can let me know if I'm wrong. But he will be making a comeback to the stage this weekend in the 212 division at the Fit Power Show in Brazil. That's the same show that Stanley Longeaux is doing. I'm excited to see him. He's coached by Chris Aceto, and it seems like he's going to bring a crazy level of conditioning and detail. Now, ending this video here with the archive of the day. You guys let me know in the comment section below which legendary bodybuilder is this. As always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.